Okay, NTI Townsville 500 press conference time, and congratulations to Anton De Pasquale, Shelby Power Racing. He's got David Noble here with him as well to celebrate here. And Brad Jones Racing getting another podium today with Coca-Cola Racing by Erebus. Drivers and team bosses at the podium, so we're ready to go. So let's get straight into the questions from the journalists.
Fraser here from Australian Associated Press. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Walk us through ending the Ford drought today and the strategy from you guys.
Yeah, awesome to be sitting up here again and get a trophy for all the whole team. You know, at Shelby Power Racing team, they've been working hard. We haven't had a great start to the season, but we've slowly been turning around, and today everything worked out for us. So spraying champagne, getting a trophy, first trophy for a lot of the guys in the team as well that are new to our team. So it's an awesome feeling, and it's a real buzz.
I believe you had an electrical issue in yesterday's race. Did that mean you had extra tyres for today's race?
Yeah, so we had some dramas yesterday, which means we had a couple tyres better than the other guys. But yeah, what that mattered, I'm not too sure. We'll have to look back on that. But yeah, the car was really pacey today in all the stints, which was awesome.
Andre, 7th yesterday and a podium today. What are your thoughts on the weekend as a whole for Brad Jones Racing?
I think it was pretty solid. We obviously moved forward, so we had good race pace, just couldn't qualify. Yesterday qualified 17th, so yeah, we made some adjustments overnight, and it was quite good. Some things are starting to line up in our team. Bryce did a great job as well in the top 10 both races, so we're working really well together, and yeah, it's been good to progress. And same thing happened at Darwin, so yeah, really excited about, I guess, where we're at the moment as a team.
And you had a tantalising duel at the end there with Brody. Just run us through that little...
I don't know if it was tantalising, but it was, yeah, I had to fight some other cars a bit harder than I anticipated earlier in the stint. They just didn't want to give up, which is fair enough. And yeah, I had to use my tyres up a bit, and we'd been struggling with the last stint yesterday and today. So yeah, it was a bit frustrating, but yeah, it was what it was, and we're just happy to hang on in the end.
Brad, your overall thoughts on this weekend in Townsville?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I think that, well, we're actually going really well. I think it's really exciting that you can turn up to a race meeting and not know who's going to win the race. And so we're getting a lot of people that new winners like we did in Darwin, and it's really good to see Anton get up for this one and get a result. I thought that our car, especially the one with Andre in it, was pretty pacey all weekend. But as he mentioned, we couldn't quite get the job done in the last stint for whatever reason. We were dropping a little bit of pace. So but really happy with the progress of the team. I think the cars are pretty good, and I'm go to every race meeting really looking forward to getting a result.
Brody, some struggles yesterday, but back on the podium today. How would you rate the weekend for Erebus Motorsport, top one and two in the standings to finish the weekend?
Yeah, I think it was a great result for the team. Obviously I didn't have too good of a day yesterday, but Will dominated yesterday's race. Qualified pole, and then I rolled out today and was on pole, and then ended up 4th in the shootout. So. And car had a lot of speed in that race then, and yeah, we ended up P2 there, and yeah, car had a lot of pace, so can't ask too much more. Yeah, we sort of just made a little bit of a mistake on the safety car, but yeah, still to end up P2 is really cool.
Connor V8 Sleuth. Anton, Dave, congratulations. Dave, your first win with the team. There's been good progress for podium at Darwin for Davo, now a win here. What does that mean to you, to the team? Yeah, to kind of after the tough start of the year.
Oh, look, it just nourishes the whole team. Even our guys back in Queensland that have been working behind the scenes back in the workshop. I think it's just it's a real energiser for everyone. I think, as Brad said, now we've got the capability in the competition at the moment that we're not quite sure who's going to win. So today it was us, our great strategy. Our engineers went to work overnight, found some pace in the car, So yeah, it's a real boost for us, you know, to get that energised, you know, feeling now to go back to work and continue to push to get back up here on a more regular basis.
And Anton, it had been a tough 12 months or so. I think the last win was Darwin last year. I mean, for you, like, yeah, I mean, how, does this turn your season around, I guess?
Not sure. I'll let you know at the next round if the season's turned around. But it definitely have had more competitiveness the last 2 or 3 rounds. Haven't quite got results for it, but there's been signs in practice or a qualifying here or there, which is not how we like to go racing. We like to do it every session, but there's been signs. So it's just getting everything aligned on the right day, which we're aiming towards. So we tried some stuff today, so that might be another direction for this kind of circuit. But we'll know in the future. But yeah, it's really cool when you can sit down with the guys and work out what you need, and it translates to the next day, and you got pace for it. So that was it, and that was sort of the highlight of today, I think.
Barry, I guess championships are a lot about maximising bad days. I was interested actually to hear about Brodie's effort yesterday when there was he couldn't drive normally with whatever the transaxle issue was. But I mean to manage that for 60 or however many laps, and bring home points, and then obviously big points today.
Yeah, you'd probably have to speak to Brodie about that, but yeah, he's learned how to drive in third gear out of most of the corners, and probably learned a few things, and a few corners that was better in third gear. And I think the biggest thing we did today was fix Will's car pretty quick in qualifying and get him back in the shootout, and able to not qualify right down the back like Shane unfortunately did for Shane, but and the safety car helped him get back. But we're in a big fight with Red Bull at the moment, and it's good. It's bit of fun, and we want to make sure we kick their ass for the rest of the year.
And actually, yeah, like you said, I mean that effort in qualifying, like it didn't have a lot of time, but I mean, yeah, it made a massive difference to your day for Will. Yeah,
he was going to be last, so if we didn't fix that, we had to manhandle an engine out of the truck, quickly rip a bracket off and chuck it on the car, and the boys did an awesome job. So something they hadn't done before, so they got the right spanners and chucked the belt on, and off we went. So with exactly the right amount of time to go, and he got one lap in and made the shootout. So I think that's what we need to do to win the championship, if little things like that are going to kill us.
Daniel Herrero from Speed Cafe. David, a good result, some good gains for you, but there's also an element of fortune, an element of strategy in this result. How far are you away from where you want to be at the moment?
You make your own luck. In that sense, yeah, safety car, I understand that. We took some learnings out of yesterday. We found some pace in the car, so that's not luck. I mean, Anton's stints through the whole segments of when we changed our tyres was pretty solid. Yeah, look, there is more work to do, but today it's about us celebrating the win, to be honest. It's about recognising of what we've done over the last couple of weeks has got us to a point, not just with the parity side of things, but just our internal work. We've just continued to work our backsides off all across internally to get to this point. And recognition should go to our whole team in what we've done. So forget the rest of it. We've just had to, and I've said this before, we've had our own stuff to get right. Forget about the other bigger picture of what you're sort of alluding to, Daniel, but internally we've just got our own stuff right as well.
I do have to ask about the parity stuff then as well.
Yep.
Your understanding of the aero package that's on this car now, how advanced is that?
Oh, look, I think we've learned a bit through the couple of practices and then the couple of qualies. So obviously today we were able to find a window that seems to work pretty well today, but who knows whether or not we can maintain that going forward to the next race. So that's from my information. Don't ask me too much about the technical side, but yeah, from our side, that's where we're at. We learned as we went through the weekend, and credit to our guys for getting the car in a position today where it could win.
Just while we've got you, pardon me, just while we've got you, David, I'm quite curious to hear your thoughts on what success in this sport tastes like compared to your past life.
Winning. Like all elite sports, it's the number of W's that you can put on the board at the moment. These guys next to us are, really setting the tone, across the competition, so we're chasing them really hard. That's what it's about. But yeah, it's like all elite sport. It's about how many wins you can get. Yeah, we all want to be competitive. There's no doubt about that. We've got partners and sponsors that we need to obligate that to. But at the end of the day, it's about winning championships, and that's what I think fundamentally becomes back to.
Rebecca Williams from the Herald Sun, one for Anton. Chaz last night was critical of the changes. He didn't feel the aero changes had made much of a difference to his car. How did you feel that your car handled this weekend? Did you feel the changes made much of a difference?
I wouldn't call it a very aero track, so it's quite difficult to make a call on that for me. Obviously, around here to go fast, you need the car to handle the curbs and the bumps and drive and stuff. So there's a tiny bit of aero in that, but not too much. So I think once we go to somewhere where you high load fifth gear going through corners, we might have a better indication of that. But around here today, I couldn't tell you unless you back to back it. But making the car work over the curbs and the bumps and loading the rear tyre correctly is sort of the key to it. So yeah, there's two corners where you're going more than a second or third gear through it, so it's not really much.
I'll pick up here. Barry, you obviously feel like you're up for this fight right now, and we heard the two Red Bull drivers. There was a bit going on the radios towards the latter stages of those races. How are you finding managing your drivers in these scenarios, and then similarly hearing that from your competitors?
Yeah, well, I scanned the other team, so it was entertaining and funny. So I'm glad I haven't got a team arguing like they were in the last few laps. So, it's pretty easy with these two guys. They look after each other. Will and Brody know what to do on track, and if they come across each other, if somebody else is faster, they just let each other pass because it just holds up the team, not just the individual. So it's pretty easy to manage these guys, and I'm looking forward to, if they're having more arguments, they're going slower, so it's good.
Brad, your thoughts on managing drivers and teams? I mean, you seem to have two drivers gelling very well right now.
But I mean, look, there's a couple of philosophies. Usually, I think the rule, certainly in my place as well, is you find your way past, but if you gifted it, then you don't pass anyone. You have to give it back before the end of the race. But it was something Shane certainly sounded like he took exception to, so he was extremely unhappy to have to do that.
Team orders, Brad? You're saying team orders, or...?
I wouldn't call it team orders. I think it's just politeness, really, isn't it, Baz? But, it's one of those things, isn't it? It's always hard to know. But, look, Shane's come back from having a very successful weekend, and I think he's made his future pretty clear, what he wants to do, and you can hear his frustration on the radio, and see it when they put a camera in there in qualifying. I mean, he's had a pretty rough weekend where he's bounced off a few walls, but he can still clearly drive a car. Think about what he did today, from how far back he came and where he finished.
Just picking up on Shane, NASCAR, Brody, I mean, obviously, there could be opportunities for you potentially, but I mean, what did you make of Shane's performance and what that does for someone like yourself who is looking down that path?
Yeah, I think what he did was pretty incredible. Those guys over there, that side of the world are really tough competitors, and they race 36 times a year. So they're no slouches, and Shane's probably one of the greatest of all time in our sport. With what he's been able to do, the last sort of 10 years. So was able to follow that weekend, pretty closely, and was pretty surprised at how well he went, sort of straight away. But those cars are quite similar to what we have now. So he seemed to adapt, pretty quickly, and it was awesome to see what he did.
Did you end up any richer for his experience, Brody?
No, I didn't, Brad. No. If I did, you'd steal it.
Guys, thank you very much. Unless there's any final questions from the press, there is. Okay.
Of course. I get input. For anyone who wants to opine, what do we think about the balance in the calendar of sprint races versus these refuelling races this weekend?
Let's start in the middle there with the Shell V-Power team on that one. Your thoughts on the format, sprint racing, endurance racing? Do you like it? Indifferent to it?
I think we need a little bit more of it. I think we migrated to the sprint style with COVID and everything, and now we do very few of the longer ones. I think we can possibly find some tracks where it suits doing this kind of races. Like around here, it makes complete sense, and all the other street tracks. But there's probably another couple options in there because it's quite enjoyable doing a couple more stints and looking after tyres and fuel. And there's actually a little bit of strategy involved, which is not too much in the sprint stuff. So I quite enjoy it.
Brad, you obviously know a lot about how these decisions get made and what goes into that in terms of cost and everything as well. Do you think it's fair what Anton's saying here, that he wants to see more refuelling races and longer races back?
I think the first half of the year is heavily stacked towards sprint races, and the back half is enduros. I think 2 co-driver races is probably enough for me, to be honest. And but the rest of it, when you think about it, we've got Adelaide, Gold Coast, Sydney Motorsport Park, so it's very heavily tipped towards that. I mean, it depends on what's entertaining, really, and these sort of races are really catered towards what the group think can give the best racing at a particular circuit. So I'm looking forward to the tail end of the year. I think it'll be really good. Sydney Motorsport Park with one CPS on Saturday night. If safety car pops up at the wrong time, then it could be a really interesting race. So I think the balance is okay at the moment. We'll see what happens.
Cool. On that note, looking very much forward to a night race on the horizon. Thank you. Well done to the 2 men in the middle, and we'll see you all very soon.